Take two. What's up, guys? Rad-I-Nation here. So I got a request for a video on how to create and edit SSL files. So I'm going to try to keep this short and quick. This is my second time making this video because the first time my microphone was not on. Sorry. So before we go any farther, we're going to discuss what an SSL file is and how it's used and why you use it. An SSL file is a file format that we use in the lighting industry, and it stands for Secured Socket File. I don't know why they came up with that. That's above my head. I don't get it. So if you hear SSL file, fixture profile, those are the same thing. So why we need to use fixture profiles? It's very important. I'll show you right now. There's no fixtures, as you can see, patched in. So if I put my fader up, say this is a simple RGB unit. I know that that's white. But let's complicate things. Let's put this into a moving head. That's 21 channels. Alright, so that was pan, whatever, fine pan, tilt, fine, my mouse is trying to die on me, fine tilt, and I can't remember what the rest of these do. But I do know last channel is 21, so let's go to channel 22. Alright, so this can be very difficult to look at and trying to find your stuff. So this is important because you don't have any information of what it is, what it does, and you can also not select multiples of the same fixtures. The second part of importance is we have nothing in our visualizer, so we can't see anything. This is our 2D visualizer. My 3D visualizer don't work. I have a brand new, I say brand new, but it's a 4-year-old computer. It does not and has not from day one been able to produce the 3D rendering. It'll pop it up and then close. Now I have an old 15-year-old laptop that'll play it. Now granted, it's on the 2.1 software, or the 2.0, whatever it's called, and I can pull up the 3D reformats on there, but it won't do it on my new computer. And I've seen someone on the Facebook group had the same issue as well. He has a maxed out Apple. He can't get the 3D on there, but he has an older computer that will do it no problem. So it comes down to what I believe is a graphics card, which to my understanding cannot be replaced in my computer. I don't get that kind of stuff. Whatever. I'm going to be getting a desktop computer maybe in a year or so, and I'll make sure it can do all that cool stuff. Alright, so now I covered what it is and why we use it. Let's hop in and go create one. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to click on our tools, and we're going to go to Scan Library. Alright, so if you look over here, we're going to go through all these and kind of what they are. There are things of telling you what you're working with, and they're pointless for me right now. You can click on all these and edit everything. We're just going to make a cheap Chinese unit. You can scroll through here and pick one that looks like your unit or whatever. These fixtures are moving heads. Objects are panels. They have two different types of panels in here. They have a thicker one and it looks like a thinner one. Then they have a laser, which is this big old block, and then they got a fogger, which is another big old block. So if you look down here, you can invert your pan and tilt. I don't. That'll be another video for another day. Trying not to get off on tangents. Alright, so we're going to create a video from scratch. If you want to see the portion where we edit an existing fixture, click on the little time thingy down here, and it'll take you to that portion of the video where we edit an existing profile. Alright, so channel 1, we're just going to make a simple moving head, so pan tilt. We need, we're going to put a color wheel in there, we're going to do a dimmer, and we're going to do a shutter. Yeah. Alright, so pan tilt, that's pretty self-explanatory. You really can't edit anything over here. There's nothing to edit. It is what it is. Sorry, that's probably a terrible explanation. Alright, so we're on our color wheel. Alright, first color, we're going to say is white. So I'm going to click on white. Well, I shouldn't say click on it. It defaults to the white on the color wheel over here, so we're going to hit white. Alright, then we're going to do, it's just going to be a cheap China unit, so we're only going to have 4 colors, or 3. You can argue if white's a color. I'll let you determine that. RGB. And like I said, you click on the color right here, it adds it over here. And all I'm doing is just changing these values. You can also click and drag it if that's what you want to do. That's fine. And then you just slide your little fader on your brightness. That's fine as well. Alright, so we got all our colors now. It says 1, 2, 3, and 4. But what we can do, we can rename this to white, red, and I'm just simply clicking on these guys. Green and blue. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and hit on this real quick before we go any farther. If you look over here on this right column, if you see default, that means that's where it's going to default to during programming. So we want it to default to white. Sure, that's fine, that's cool. Alright, now say we paid $2 extra and we got the color scroll effect on this unit. Alright, I'm going to save you a lot of time on all these clicking. You're going to go down to this question mark, scroll all the way down. You'll see these 2 little color rotate left, and row right. So click on that, it'll throw it in here. That's not where we want it. We want it down here. So we just change that. Alright, so now we got all the information of what our unit does. Now we need to put in the values so when we grab our fader we know what's going to do what. Now guys, I'm just making this unit up. This unit probably does exist, I don't know, but we're making this up just for training purposes. So 0 to 50 is going to be our first value for white. And then as soon as you type in 50 and hit enter, ignore my stupid dog in the background, you'll see that this jumps to 51 because that's just the next value. That's one less thing you gotta do. Do 51 to 100, 101 to 150, 151 to 200, and 201 to 255. Perfect. Alright, now we got a little orange triangle here. It's giving us a warning, and I don't know why. I haven't had any issues with the warning things. But if you see the red ones, that's an error. It's saying empty channel. We have to put something in here. It will not, I don't think it will let you save or continue on with errors. Alright, so dimmer, we're going to do, we'll just do a linear dimmer. Alright, that's pretty simple. 0 to 255. Shutter. Alright, so most of your units will be closed, open, and usually between each different type of pulsating and strobing there'll be a closed option. But this is a cheap China unit, so we're just going to click that. And again, reference your manual, your cut sheet, whatever you want to call it. I don't think cut sheet's the right term, but reference that portion of your handbook or your manual that you've probably already thrown away. You're going to need to reference that, and so you can properly put in these values. If you don't, you can sit in front of it and play with each fader and try to figure it out. That is very time consuming and a headache. I have done it before for cheap Chinese units at a club install. That was 2 hours of time that I had to charge for that was just pointless. It's whatever. Charge by the hour. So when you get this done, we want it to default to open, cool, whatever. Alright. That's how you make your simple Chinese unit. We're going to file, save as. We're going to call this that's going to be the name of the unit because that's about the only thing that's coming out of China. Going to hit save. It's going to save it into our fixture library. Now you can save it to your desktop if you'd like, or if you're comfortable digging through the files, pulling it out and whatnot. The reason I suggest saving it to your desktop is, say you have a fellow LD or a fellow DJ that has that same light that you use, and you make a file and he don't have a file, you can just email it to him, and providing you made it correctly, he can use it correctly. Now again, it's very important to pay attention to that sheet. For example, say this unit also came in a 7-channel mode. You would have to add what other 2 channels those are. I'm not going to get technical on what those next 2 channels should be, but hypothetically speaking, say channel 6 was, I don't know, a frost filter. You can click that, he'll throw it in there. You just drag it down to where you need it, and it'll be fine. Alright, and say you drag some stuff in here and it's not what you wanted. Very easy, just right-click, delete, right-click, delete. So I'm going to show you 2 quick things while we're in here. You can go ahead and say this was a 7-channel unit, and channels 1 and 2 were pan and fine pan, and channels 3 and 4 were tilt and fine tilt. You can go in here and click them again and drag them up and rename them, or deleting, or you can right click and hit 16-bit, and it'll put that little U down there. That means it's fine. That's a fine pan. So tilt, we're going to do another 16-bit fine tilt. So if you see this little U in front of any of your units, that means it's a fine channel. Actually say this had a fine dimmer on it. There we go. 2 different ways to do your fine adjustments. And again, after you're done editing, make sure you save. So this would be, say, it in a 8-channel mode. So we're going to save as, and we're going to type it in. Wow, I just realized I spelled that wrong the first time. We're going to misspell it because China likes to misspell stuff. And we're going to put 8-channel. Then you hit save. It saves it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Alright guys, so that was our misspelled Chinese Crowid 19 unit that we just made. Alright guys, so if you've stuck with me this long, awesome. If not, I'm going to show you how to edit an existing fixture. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to File, you're going to go to Open, and we're going to open up this light that I thought looked hilarious earlier as I was kind of scrolling through some of these. Well, I've stumbled across this unit that says funky. We're going to get funky. The hell kind of names are these? Wow. I don't know what to think of these names. I promise, guys, I cannot make this up. Wow, this is uh, this is kind of disturbing. Oh, I think the name of the company should call Disturbed or Disturbing. I don't know. Real quick thing while I see it. SSL and SSL2, for our purposes, are the same thing. Yeah. Fun Generation. What kind of lights do they got? Ooh, they got an LED pot. So the LED smoking pot. I think that's what the companies were smoking when they named some of this stuff. All right. Diamond Dome. That sounds like a unit I want to use. I've seen another one in here that looked pretty funny that I can tell just by the name it was a knockoff. Pro DJ. Yeah, I'm sure those are some pro lights. Alright. Sharpie. For those that know, Sharpie, there's a Chinese company that's advertising they have Sharpies. They're not Sharpies. You get what you pay for. You buy these Sharpie knockoffs, you're going to get a crap light. Let's see. Color wheel. Alright, so this is going to be kind of fun here. Alright, so I found a channel that I'm going to guess is not right at all. It has a color wheel, but when you click on it, it just has this. So pretty much what it's doing is allowing you to use the fader to select a color. That's fine if you've got the sheet in front of you and whatnot and you carry that in your back pocket like I do all the time. Actually, I do carry them in a binder. But say, you're programming and you want it to go on a color split and you can't remember that color split combination or whatever, this ain't going to help you. So we're going to kind of do what we did earlier. We're going to make 4 simple colors. Do white, blue, red, green. I'm going to put these in order. Alright, now I'm going to move this one to the bottom and I'm going to show you what we're going to do with it in a bit. How to change this to a color scroll, for example. Alright, again, we're going to use these same basic values. Again, I'm just editing a fictional light that don't exist. Alright, so perfect. If you've seen, I was trying to type in 100 and it wouldn't let me. It's kind of good because I was trying to get something to do that earlier and it wouldn't do it. So, if you notice, like I said, I was trying to type in 100 but it won't let me. The reason is because this value right here is at 96. And you just can't do that. So then you'll just kind of have to work backwards if you kind of get in a part where you're stuck and you can't go any higher. You'll just have to work backwards. So say, for example, this is our color scroll portion. We're going to do 201. It's going to put that to 200. This is going to be 251. And then now we can make this 100. Perfect. Now all these are in roughly increments of 50. So again, follow your sheet. It'll give you the correct values. We're going to want this to default on white, so we click that. And this is actually going to be a color scroll. So if we click on this little icon, again, if you remember, we're going to click on this question mark, go all the way down to this color rotating thing. We're going to hit OK, and boom, we get our image display changed. It's also giving us an error on the strobe. Shutter open preset missing. That's kind of common in these knockoff units. So we're going to put a open and a close in there as well. Say close to 0 to 10, and then say this is 11 to 20, and then so on and so forth. And again, we can preset this to shutter open. Alright, now if we look here, we got another error, a gobo shake. We're missing gobo shakes. This one's going to be a little bit more difficult for me to try figuring out, but I can show you what we're going to do. We're going to go over here to gobos. Now say you have, again, a knockoff unit, and we're just going to use 3 gobos just to make it simple. It's going to be an open for sure. And cancel. I'm just going to delete this just to make it easier for myself. We're going to do an open gobo, and you can scroll through all these if you want and find your gobo that matches. I've done that before for a Chinese light. It's very time consuming, but it's whatever. It's your light. As long as you know what it's doing, that's fine. We're going to do open. We're going to do this color little try thing, and then we're going to do the 45 RPM. Alright guys, so I am drawing a booger on why this gobo shake. Again, this is going to be stuff you're going to be running into these cheap Chinese units. Honestly, what I'm going to do, this is probably a cop-out move, but I'm going to delete that. Because if you know anything about lights, most of your gobo bounces or shakes are going to be on the same channel. Sorry, that may be a cop-out move of me just deleting that and saying I don't know. But without a sheet in front of me giving me instructions on what everything does, I can't accurately fix it. Alright guys, so say this is how you got your fixture set up and you like it like this. What you're going to do is you're going to hit File, Save As. Don't hit Save. What it's going to do, it's going to rewrite that file, the actual file, and if you make a booger up and can't figure out how to correct it, the only other way I can tell you is to re-download the files from the internet, and that would fix it, which leads me to my next point, is if you overwrite it as that fixture and say it is working correctly, if you update your files and download them all, it's probably going to replace that file and undo the work that you did to it. So that's something to keep in mind. So what I always do is this is the beam. Then I always put edit at the end of it so I know what it is. You can take it one step farther and do 15 channels so you know what channel mode it's running in. And just hit save. Hopefully that makes sense. Alright, so after exiting out of there, if you go into import, you'll just have to find wherever that file's at. I'm not going to find it right now. But what you can do if you're not comfortable or just don't have the time to dig and find that file, you can just close out of the software. You can pull your software back up. Alright, so if you close it and open it back up, you scroll all the way down. Here are those lights that we just made. Alright guys, so that's how you create and edit SSL files or fixture profiles. Comment down below if this video was better or worse than the other ones. Till next time, Rad-I-Nation, signing off.